So one of the important things to consider about tall buildings is not just their economic impact, which is pretty evident in most cases, but their environmental impact and their social impact, how they fit into the neighborhood and what role they play in planning in the city at large and what we call CTBUH, the urban habitat. Okay. So what are some of the most important things to consider about tall buildings when it comes to their environmental and social impact?
Okay. I look at it a little differently. We are there for we're not there for the whole life cycle of the job. We get in early during design and work our way through construction. So we have an impact as general contractors during the construction period. We have tens of thousands of people that come in from all parts of the world to build this project. So how do we house them? How do you take care of them? The impact of that presence in the socioeconomic structure of that city, there's a substantial impact. So we look into that, and that's something that's very important. So we create an environment where they have extracurricular activities after they're done with work, because they're there for an extended period of time, for over 4 to 5 years during the life cycle of the project. We also see the impact of safety, how concrete is poured at those heights. Once you go above 400, 500 meters, it gets really challenging to pour concrete. And what are the challenges it takes? It constantly gets us to innovate, look at different ways, and how do we keep up? Because these buildings are not getting shorter, they're getting taller as we move forward. So when I look at the economic, social, and environmental, I don't just look at the life cycle of the project. I look at it during the construction and the impact it has.
What are some of the things that make it difficult to ensure that it has a good impact on the whole life cycle of the building? Because you bring up a good point that project managers, developers, architects, engineers, most of the people that we talk to are involved at the early stages.
Yeah. I would say a big part is the quality, okay, and how this project comes together. There's a lot of thought that goes in during the early design, all right? As a contractor or a project manager, coming in early on a project has a huge impact, because we build tall buildings all around the world, and we know what are the best practices, what has worked, what has not worked, and we bring the subject matter experts from Turner from all over the world to support this during this early concept stage. And we always believe it's easier to correct it on paper than once it's under construction. It's a lot cheaper too. So we definitely look at that option. So when you have us with the general contracting background coming in, we are able to identify challenges logistically, how this project's going to come together, what is going to happen, what can we do to change the way, the sequencing of the construction, using the latest innovations, the building information and modeling. How do we barcode all the material that comes in so that it's on time? One thing we're really doing well, we finished a project in Los Angeles. It's Wilshire Grand. It's one of the tallest buildings on that side of Mississippi. The whole project was based on the lean principles. Nothing hits the ground. Everything is cut in the factories and bought in real time. And it has worked brilliantly. The lost time has gone down, safety, the environment is great. Just the attitude, the project is like spotless. When you walk the job, it doesn't look like a construction project. It looks, and the whole morale of the people working on it, and the speed to market is excellent by going that way.
So Turner works on some of the biggest tall building projects in the world, Burj Khalifa, currently the Merdeka PNB 118 in Kuala Lumpur. What are some of the particular project management challenges of buildings on that scale?
In the 80s, the subject matter experts, the tall building experts were based in either Hong Kong or the United States, all right? The last 20 years, that's changed. You find them in the Middle East, in China here, and it's an incredible, so there's a lot of expertise out there. What we enjoy doing is taking a complex, iconic project and getting the people, the best in class, the consultants together to work collaboratively and to come up with a project and the end product which the client's proud of, and it's truly iconic. The journey, we are able to connect all the experts together and make the journey as seamless as possible.
How do you do that?
It's planning, all right? We have, if you take the Burj Khalifa, all right, that was once in a lifetime opportunity. So we have a lot of folks who worked on that project. Now they're on the Merdeka 118. They bring that expertise. So early in the planning, we were able to iron out a lot of wrinkles which we learned in real time on the Burj, and that benefited our client on Merdeka. All right, we bring in consultants who've done this. They understand the challenges of working together. Find as many like-minded people who can come and work together to make this thing happen.
Since you work in so many countries all over the world, I mean, you just mentioned two far-flung countries right there, and you were in Los Angeles earlier. I mean, you're everywhere. What are some of the particular challenges of code when you're working in different environmental standards every day, different workplace standards, all kinds of different considerations? How do you make sure that you're getting the best standard of quality for all those things? And how do you just navigate that thicket of different code requirements all over the world?
That's an excellent question. We have 45 offices in the US and 16 offices globally. It's far-flung from Central Asia and Kazakhstan all the way to Ho Chi Minh. So we have offices all around the world. But our philosophy is very simple. We do have subject matter experts, but every country, every city we go into, we hire locally. We hire them from the best universities. We send them to the United States for training. We put them in different parts of the world to learn how we work. And they also have the local construction knowledge because they grew up in that environment. They understand the codes. They understand the challenges. So if you take a project like Merdeka, you will find not only folks, people from the United States, you'll find people from Britain, but majority of our staff on that side, on that project is from Malaysia. So it's a good combination. The leadership usually comes from the United States, people who have built these iconic projects, but the mid-level and the lower level, we just mix it up together so that we get a good mix, and they come with the local knowledge. They've worked in this market for 10, 15 years. They understand the challenges and the codes.
Everything is so global now, of course. I mean, you will hire locally, but you'll have money from all over the world. You'll have contractors, architects, people involved in the project on a tall building the scale of Burj Khalifa, for example, from all over the world. What considerations do you take, or what steps do you take to make sure that a building with that kind of global background is still important to the place that it's actually going to be in, that it's in context, and that it matters to the city that it's going to be in?
What we can do is make the experience the best it can be during the journey. But one thing I emphasize to my team while they are there is we're not there for a project and leave. We want to be part of the community, all right? So what we like to do is get involved in community activities, engage ourselves in the community, and also we have our own app and online where we share updates on projects. We have these live webcams where we constantly show people the progress of the job so that they understand what's going on. We recently had a raft foundation pour on Merdeka. It's one of the biggest raft foundations. We're pouring for 50 hours nonstop, all right? It's about 18,000 cubic feet of concrete. And we've brought in people, we showed it to them how it's done, they understand it, and we try to do a better job of communicating with the people we work with.